So yesterday in our first class, we started with our chapter number 1. And yesterday we covered even syllabus in the previous class. In the entire syllabus, what is that one topic which I missed is, which is specifically applicable for CMA Inter, is cost accounting standards. You can add one more topic there in the topics whatever we have given. Almost how many topics I've given? 17 topics I've given. No. So one more topic what you can add is cost accounting standards. Cost accounting standards. In short, we call it as CAS, CAS, cost accounting standards. Right? Okay. So we started with the first very important word to get start with this cost accounting subject is cost. So what is the simple meaning of cost? Cost is the expenditure incurred for producing goods or rendering services. So what expenditure consists of, even that also we covered yesterday. What is the other definition I gave for cost? First one is expenditure incurred for producing goods or services. What is the alternative definition I gave? It is the monetary value of all the sacrifices, you can say, or the resources which are used in producing goods or rendering services. So what that expense consists of? What are those sacrifices or what are those resources? Those are three, no? Those resources or expenditure consists of three elements here. What are those? Material, labor, and expenses. You can also call them as resources. Resources. Now, why I added this topic, cost accounting standards, here? Because it's part of your syllabus. Now, if you add material cost, labor cost, what are the three elements of cost? If any time if you have to calculate cost, your cost will consist of three elements. This is the boundary. What are those? Material, labor, and expenses. These three put together only we call it as total cost. Now, yesterday one important aspect what I told you is costing main purpose. Why we calculate cost? The main purpose of that is not to fix the selling price. That is not the first objective. The reason, the basic reason why costing has originated is for the purpose of cost control or cost reduction. So when they started, this branch of financial accounting, basically cost accounting is a branch of financial accounting. The basic purpose of introducing this was to know how much exactly the cost they are expected to incur, right? And also how we can, is it in control or is there any possibility of what reducing this expenditure? That was the main purpose, right? So now these expenses or these costs can be classified on the basis of traceability with respect to a cost object, whether these are direct or indirect. Why we need to do that is, as I told you just now, our objective is to control what? Cost or reduce cost. Then you should know which one can be controlled, which one cannot be controlled. So in that quest of knowing which one can be controlled, which one cannot be controlled, we are going to analyze what? The classification. I mean, we are going to analyze the cost, which we call it as classification. So why classification we have to know? Why we have to again deep dive into the types of cost is to know exactly the nature of cost, so that you will know whether that cost can be controlled or cannot be controlled. Now, all this material, labor or expenses based on traceability, we can classify them as direct or indirect. All direct form of cost, if you add, we get we got that. What is that? Prime cost. All direct form, if you add, we get prime cost. If you add all the indirect form of cost, what we call it as overheads. Right? Now, just now we talked about what? Cost accounting standards. We added in our syllabus. Right now, when you calculate cost, what are the things we should take into consideration for the purpose of calculating costs? Right? So, when you calculate costs, what are the things that are applicable, which you need to mandatorily follow is cost accounting standards. Cost accounting standards. Now, the other one is generally accepted cost accounting principles. Generally accepted cost accounting principles. So probably you might be wondering, sir, why we need to have standards, why we have these principles is, now if there are two persons, say X and Y, I ask them to calculate what is the cost. Yesterday's example only, here we converted sugar cane into what? Sugar. Now I ask these two persons to calculate the cost. Now both of them arrived at the cost. They took the material cost, they took the labor cost, they also took the expenses. Now the amount what X got is 40,000, the amount what Y got is 42,000. Now why this happened? Actually the cost should have been same only, no? The problem was they did not follow what? Certain set of what? Principles. That is the reason both of them got what? Different costs. So that is a reason why you need to have what? Rules or the standards, so that everyone will have uniformity whenever they're calculating cost. Like in accounts also, financial statements are prepared on the basis of what? Accounting standards. And you have generally accepted accounting principles. So using that only we prepare what? Financial statement. And same thing even in costing also, if you want to calculate cost, you have to follow these standards and rules. That cost which you calculate by following this, that is only accepted. Are you getting this point? Also you should know, right? Now in CMA Inter, what they have done is they have given all the standards right from class 1 to 24. The bracket you can write, it should be calculated. It should be calculated using or applying is the word what you can take. It should be calculated applying cost accounting standards and generally accepted accounting, which accounting? Cost accounting principles. Right? So far two things we have covered. What is cost? Okay. Then what cost consists of? What is this? what cost consists of? Consists of three elements: material, labor, and expenses. Then immediately, how cost can be classified, that also we have seen. Further discussion on that we will do it. Okay. Now immediately we shifted focus to this one. When you calculate cost, is there any rules applicable, or everyone can do, okay, their own, they can apply their own knowledge and calculate cost, or they should follow strictly the standards and rules? Strictly they have to follow this, right? In fact, we have cost audit also. In Companies Act, we have cost audit. So those manufacturing companies which have the prescribed turnover as per the section, for them cost audit is applicable. So naturally, for you, if cost audit is applicable, the cost, whatever you audit means, what they are going to verify, cost accountants. Who are going to do cost audit? Yes, cost accountants only. So what they are going to do? They will verify whether the cost, whatever you calculated, is in accordance with what? Cost accounting standards. Got it? So second point, what you understood is, when you calculate cost, which one we should apply, right? Next. Third thing, what you should know is why there is a separate reason. Next one is why cost accounting. Why cost accounting is required. What was the need for cost accounting? Basically, why we need to do this accounting? What is cost accounting is basically, if you record, gather the entire costs and pass the entries and then get the total cost, then that is only called as cost accounting. You are doing accounting for what? Cost. When we discuss about the terms cost accounting, we will write the definition also. Now, why we require a separate subject called as cost accounting? That is the aspect we are covering. What is the reason is, and I told you earlier, if you remember, it is a branch of financial accounting. Cost accounting is a branch of financial accounting. So when you have financial accounting, where we are able to get the profit, why again we require cost accounting? Why do we require cost accounting? You tell me now, what is the reason for cost accounting based on the demo class 1, whatever you had, the class number 1, knowledge what you got? Tell me. To know? For which one? He's saying to know the expenditure, sir. For which one? To produce the goods. Okay. Don't you think that is done even in financial accounting also? If you remember financial accounting, what we do in financial accounting is overall profitability. Product wise, say for example, if you are producing 3 products, X, Y, and Z, product wise revenue you will have. Okay, product wise revenue you will have. Then product wise, what about product wise cost? What about less product wise cost? Product wise revenue you have. But what about product wise cost? In financial statements, overall expenditure and overall revenue, overall profit only you will know. But have you seen in financial statements, income statement, where they have given product wise what is the revenue, product wise what is the cost, what is the product wise profit? Have you seen? No. You know what is the reason? Because when they wrote the entries, financial entries, they have written on a total basis, not product basis. When you are writing the entry, you have just written what is the total purchases. Yes or no? Yes. You have never written for X how much, for Y how much, for Z how much. You have not done that. So that is the reason financial accounting will not give us product wise cost. Now, if you want to control your cost, naturally you should know product wise cost or not. Yes. So that is the reason during the industrial revolution, what we had in India during 1800 years, I mean 1828 to 1868, that was the time where slowly we had this industrial revolution across the globe. That is where people felt that separate costing is also required to have a look at how much you are incurring. Is it in control or not? Are we incurring excess expenditure? Or sometimes, I need to tell you this, during World War also, people, they used to spend a lot of money on arms and ammunitions, and they used to buy from suppliers. Suppliers, what they used to do is they used to charge price on this basis. What they used to do is they used to charge on cost plus basis. What is the meaning of cost plus? Whatever cost they are incurring, and they're adding some fixed margin. Okay, so these people simply they need to accept that price only. There was no, yes, there is no exception. I mean, there is no other way for them. Why? Because they are not aware of how they calculated cost. So that is the reason people felt that they need to have an audit of the cost, how much they are incurring. That is where costing has now originated. That is one circumstance which led to origination of what? Evolution of this subject called as cost accounting. Now, why they felt that they need to look at the cost? Because they are blindly accepting whatever they are charging. So as a buyer, you would like to know whether they really incur that much cost or not. Yes. So if you want to know whether that is a correct cost or not, first of all, you should know the process of calculating cost or not. Yes, that is where they felt that there should be a separate field. Understood? This is just the little history, whatever I gave. So, do you think a separate branch is required for calculating cost? Yes. Or financial accounting is sufficient? Yes, you require a separate branch where product wise I will record the cost, and I can also ascertain product wise what? Profit. What happens is, what is the advantage of calculating product wise profit? Now you will only give you the answer. Now tell me, say product X you got profit of 10,000, product Y you got profit of say 12,000, and product Z gave you a loss of 1,000 rupees. So what is the overall profitability here? 22,000 minus 1, 21,000. Now, if you are a owner, what do you think? What is the thinking that will get into your mind is immediately looking at this figures is, tell me what you will do. If you know the product wise, what is the profit or loss here? Tell me what you can do here. Is there now what you naturally will, what you will think is how I can increase this profit. So immediately you think of dropping what? Product Z. Why? Because at the end of the day, nothing you are getting. You are, in fact, you are getting a loss. So what if I drop this product? What if I drop this product? What will happen? Your profitability will increase by how much? 1,000 rupees or not? Yes. So you are able to take one decision also with this data. So this data, whatever we get in cost accounting, is useful for decision making also, not just for controlling costs. Even that is very useful for management to take what? Decisions. This is one of the decision. Whether we should drop the product or whether we should continue with the product or not. This is one of those decisions. So in costing, we also take what? Decisions. In costing, we also take decisions using the data. So costing is useful for that also. Earlier, in first class, I told you that costing is required for what purpose? Controlling, isn't it? Cost control and cost reduction. Now here, I told you that it is also useful for what purpose? Decision making purpose also. And we can also calculate product wise profitability. Can we calculate product wise profitability? Yes, we can calculate product wise profitability, and anyhow we can also calculate selling price also. These all are the uses of cost accounting. So why cost accounting is required means we can use cost accounting data to calculate selling price. We can also use that to calculate product wise profitability. We can also use cost data to control our costs as well as to reduce the costs, isn't it? And we can also use this data to take decision making. It helps the management in taking decisions. So this is the reason why you require separate field, that is cost accounting. Understood, everyone? So you can write that point here. Why cost accounting is required is in order to know product wise, cost or service wise cost, financial accounting in order to know product wise cost or service wise cost, financial accounting is not useful. Hence, cost accounting requirement came in and evolved over a period of time, based on industrial revolution. Evolved over a period of time based on industrial revolution. So Alani, what happened is slowly it got deeper, right? And that is common anywhere. Initially they started, okay, then slowly according to the requirement of the industry. What happened in the industry was during 1400 the production was very simple. Only labor used to work. Okay. Say for example, you are making a furniture. So furniture is a simple process where you require what? A normal process. You don't require machineries, big machineries. That time. So costing, how they used to do, just they used to add the labor cost and what? Material cost. It was not so complicated. But as they brought in equipments, isn't it? Then the production has become more complex. Then even apart from material and labor also, they are also started incurring what? Other expenses. And gradually what happened is, this other expenses only constituted more cost. So now that other expenses, what is happening is you are not incurring specifically for a product, but you have to charge that also to the products or not. So the big challenge is how we are going to charge those expenses to these products, right? So for that also we have the solutions like activity based costing, absorption costing. These are some of the techniques what we use to assign that cost to the products. వచ్చిందన్నమాట. Gradually they introduced these techniques in order to charge this indirect cost to the products also. Indirect costs are nothing but what? Overheads. I told you, no. Because these are common expenses. The big challenge for the industry was how we should charge them to the cost objects. Right? So I hope you got some knowledge here why cost accounting is required. Just shifted my focus to again on cost accounting here. Now we will shift our focus back to definitions. So we have seen cost definition, isn't it? Yes. Now next definition is, now you can write this as point number 3. Is on industrial revolution. Point number 3 is costing. Costing. Yes. What is costing is? Costing is, in simple words, it is the process of calculating costs by using methods and techniques. It is a process of, I'll write here, it is the calculation of cost using methods and techniques. It is the calculation of cost using methods and techniques. Yes. Now, do you think, see here example, Hyundai. What they do, Hyundai? Cars they manufacture or not? Yes. Now you have a ITC, Indian Tobacco Company. Yes, this is consumer based products. This is the automobile. Now, when they calculate cost, do you think both will follow the same methodology? No. Isn't it? So that means what? Depending on the nature of production process, how we calculate cost will change. Are you getting? Yes. So that is what I have written here, using methods and techniques. So method will change according to nature of production. Method will change according to nature of production. If you just go back to your syllabus, I have given different methods of costing or not. What are those? Like job costing, batch costing, contract costing, process costing, service costing. All these are what? According to the nature of industry only, we have what? Different methods there. అంటే ఇక్కడ మనం ఏం చేస్తున్నాము, మన ప్రోడక్ట్ ఏంటి, మన ఇండస్ట్రీ ఏంటి, దాన్ని బట్టి ఏమవుతుంది, మనం క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేసే ప్రొసీజర్ అనేది మారుతుంది. సో దాన్ని ఏమంటాం మనం? మెథడ్స్ అంటాం. సో మెథడ్ అంటే మారుతుందా? Method means it is changing according to industry or it will remain same? It will change. These are the examples. What are those? Job costing, batch costing, contract costing. These all are what? Methods. If you are now L&T, you know L&T? Yes. L&T. What they will do? L&T, it's an infrastructure company. They build big projects like Hyderabad Metro project. Executed by L&T only, no? Yes. So they follow contract costing. What they follow? Contract costing. So now what you should understand from this is, minimal knowledge what you might have got is, according to nature of production, the way we calculate cost will what? Change. See, cost is same only, material, labor and expense only. But the process will what? Change. దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ యూ షుడ్ అండర్స్టాండ్. అందుకే వాటిని మెథడ్స్ అంటున్నాం. తర్వాత ఇంకో వర్డ్ ఏం యూజ్ చేశాను ఇక్కడ? వాట్ ఈస్ అదర్ వర్డ్ ఐ యూస్డ్? టెక్నిక్స్. ఎస్, టెక్నిక్స్. నౌ వాట్ ఆర్ టెక్నిక్స్ ఇస్, టెక్నిక్స్ విల్ టెల్ అస్ వాట్ షుడ్ బి ఇంక్లూడెడ్ ఇన్ కాస్ట్. అసలు కాస్ట్లో ఏముండాలనేది ఏం చెప్తుంది మనకి? టెక్నిక్స్ విల్ గివ్ అస్. టెక్నిక్స్ వీ హ్యావ్ basically two. One is absorption costing, other one is marginal costing. Absorption costing, other one is marginal costing. Do you remember these two? I have given as chapters in your syllabus. Marginal costing I have given as what? Chapters. So what is technique? Technique will give us what cost should include. So we have only two techniques here. One is absorption costing, other one is marginal costing. ఇక్కడ అబ్జార్ప్షన్ కాస్టింగ్ ఏం చెప్తుందో తెలుసా? కాస్ట్లో మనకి వేరియబుల్ కాస్ట్ యాజ్ వెల్ యాజ్ ఫిక్స్డ్ కాస్ట్ కూడా ఉండాలని చెప్తుంది. ఏది? అబ్జార్ప్షన్ కాస్టింగ్ టెక్నిక్. మార్జినల్ కాస్టింగ్ ఏం చెప్తుందో తెలుసా? యూ టేక్ ఓన్లీ వేరియబుల్. టేక్ ఓన్లీ విచ్ వన్? వేరియబుల్ కాస్ట్. అర్థమవుతుందా? సో టెక్నిక్స్ మెథడ్స్ రెండు ఒకటేనా? డూ యూ థింక్ బోత్ ఆర్ సేమ్? మెథడ్స్ అండ్ టెక్నిక్స్? నో. మెథడ్ విల్ చేంజ్ అకార్డింగ్ టు వాట్? ఇండస్ట్రీ, నేచర్ ఆఫ్ ప్రోడక్ట్, నేచర్ ఆఫ్ సర్వీస్, నేచర్ ఆఫ్ ప్రొడక్షన్, isn't it? Whereas technique will remain what? Same. ఏ ఇండస్ట్రీ అయినా ఇదర్ అబ్జార్ప్షన్ కాస్టింగ్ ఆర్ మార్జినలే ఫాలో అవ్వాలి. అర్థమైందా డిఫరెన్స్ రెండింటికి? ఎస్. సో టు క్యాలిక్యులేట్ కాస్ట్ we use either methods, we use methods as well as what? Techniques. For example, ఇప్పుడు నేను సర్వీస్ ప్రొవైడ్ చేస్తున్నాను అనుకోండి, if I am providing service, I will follow service costing. And అందులో కూడా మళ్ళీ నేను బోత్ వేరియబుల్ ఇంక్లూడ్ చేయాలి యాజ్ వెల్ యాజ్ వాట్? ఫిక్స్డ్. అకార్డింగ్ టు విచ్ వన్? అబ్జార్ప్షన్ కాస్టింగ్. ఇఫ్ యూ అడాప్ట్ అబ్జార్ప్షన్, దెన్ యూ విల్ ఇంక్లూడ్ బోత్. ఇఫ్ యూ యూస్ మార్జినల్, దెన్ యూ విల్ ఓన్లీ ఇంక్లూడ్ విచ్ వన్? వేరియబుల్ కాస్ట్. అండర్స్టూడా? ఎస్. సో మినిమల్ నాలెడ్జ్ యూ విల్ గెట్ హియర్. So what is costing? Because many people use a shortcut costing also to refer this subject. ఈ సబ్జెక్ట్ గురించి చెప్పడానికి ఏం వాడతారు వాళ్ళు? కాస్టింగ్ అంటారు కదా. ఎస్, బట్ కాస్టింగ్ ట్రూ మీనింగ్ ఏంది అర్థమైందా? వాట్ ఈస్ కాస్టింగ్? ఇట్ ఈస్ ద క్యాలిక్యులేషన్ ఆఫ్ కాస్ట్ యూజింగ్, ఇట్ ఈస్ అసర్టైన్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ కాస్ట్ ఆర్ క్యాలిక్యులేషన్ ఆఫ్ కాస్ట్ యూజింగ్ మెథడ్స్ అండ్ వాట్? టెక్నిక్స్. అర్థమైందా? సో ఇక్కడ మీరు ఏం రాయాలంటే మెథడ్స్ అంటే ఏంటో రాయాలి, వాట్ ఆర్ ద వేరియస్ మెథడ్స్, అండ్ టెక్నిక్స్ అంటే ఏంటో రాయాలి. మెథడ్స్, టెక్నిక్స్. సో మెథడ్ విల్ ప్రిస్క్రైబ్ వాట్? ప్రొసీజర్. మెథడ్ అంటే ఏంటి ఇక్కడ? ప్రొసీజర్ for calculating cost. Procedure for calculating cost. ఈ ప్రొసీజర్ సేమ్ ఉంటుందా? విల్ ఇట్ రిమైన్ సేమ్ ఫర్ ఆల్? నో. ప్రొసీజర్ విల్ చేంజ్ based on nature of production. Procedure will change based on nature of production and service. Examples: process costing, job costing, batch, contract. Yes. మరి టెక్నిక్ ఏం చెప్తుంది మనకు చెప్పండి? టెక్నిక్, why technique is required? It is required to know what cost should include. Technique will give us what to be included in cost. What to be included in cost. Technique will give us what to be included in cost. I mean which cost, what to be included, and which cost should be included. How many types of techniques are there? And which cost and exactly we are talking about variable and fixed. So we have two here. One is absorption costing. లేదా కిందికి ట్రేద్దాం ఒక చార్ట్ లాగా ఇక్కడ వేస్ లేదు ఇక్కడ వేసేయండి లేకపోతే షార్ట్ ఇక్కడ వేసేసేయండి ఇక్కడ అబ్జార్ప్షన్ కాస్టింగ్ other one is marginal costing. One is absorption costing, the other one is marginal costing. So absorption costing says or absorption costing is a technique which includes both variable as well as what? Fixed. So what this says is this technique include both variable cost as well as fixed cost. Include both variable and fixed. I have not covered what exactly variable and fixed, but I hope you have at least basic knowledge of what is variable and fixed. Variable and fixed cost. It includes only marginal or variable cost. So what is the understanding you got out of this is that in order to calculate cost, there is a procedure. That procedure will change according to what? Nature of industry. So accordingly, we have different methods of costing. And while calculating cost, the dilemma is whether we should include variable as well as what? Fixed. Will it include both or not? That is given by technique. So technique will give us which cost to be included, whereas method will give us the procedure for calculating what? Cost. Which one will change according to industry? Method. Whereas technique will remain common for both. Understood? Yes. Next topic what we are going to cover is classification of cost. Classification of cost. So already one classification we have done earlier is so in this world, when they started analyzing the cost, the first classification, why they started analyzing, I told you no. You need to, in order to control cost, first you need to know the nature of cost. You need to get a better understanding of the expenditure. So the first classification is which one? Based on nature or elements. Based on nature or elements. Based on nature or elements. Cost is classified into 3 categories. Interview. Material, labor and expenses. Material, labor and expenses. This is the first classification you have. And this also we are learning from cost accounting standard. Classification of cost is given under cost accounting standard number 1. That standard only has given this classification, and we are learning that only. CAS1 covers classification of cost. ఇప్పుడు నేర్చుకునే ప్రతిదీ అక్కడి నుంచే నేర్చుకోబోతున్నాం మనం. సో ఇక్కడ మెటీరియల్ అంటే ఏంటి? మెటీరియల్ కాస్ట్ నో, ఎస్, వాట్ ఇట్ షుడ్ ఇన్క్లూడ్, వాట్ మెటీరియల్ కాస్ట్ షుడ్ include, that we will learn in our chapter. We have a separate chapter now. What is that? Material cost. So in that chapter we will know what it should include, labor what it should include, even expenses also what it should include. The other day I told you that this can be further classified into direct and indirect. So material ante enti ikkada? First, what is material? Material ante here the tangible commodities which are used in manufacturing of goods or rendering of సర్వీసెస్. వాటి కాస్ట్నే మనం ఏమంటాం? మెటీరియల్ కాస్ట్ అంటాం. ఓకే, ఏంటది? టాంజబుల్ కమోడిటీస్, టాంజబుల్ కమోడిటీస్ consumed, tangible commodities or goods also you can use, consumed for manufacturing of goods or producing of goods, you can say for producing goods, for producing goods or rendering services. So in order to produce a goods, whatever goods are getting consumed or used, we call them as what? Material, right? Yes. కానీ అందులో ఏమేమి ఇంక్లూడ్ చేయాలి, వాట్ షుడ్ బి ఎక్స్క్లూడెడ్, ఆల్ దట్ వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు కవర్ ఇన్ మెటీరియల్ కాస్ట్ చాప్టర్. సో ఇందులో న్యాచురల్లీ ఏమి ఇంక్లూడ్ చేయాలి? పర్చేస్ ప్రైస్ వి షుడ్ ఇంక్లూడ్, ట్రాన్స్పోర్టేషన్ కాస్ట్ వి షుడ్ ఇంక్లూడ్, isn't it? Any taxes like GST, if input tax credit is available, we should not include, otherwise we can include. So ఇవన్నీ రూల్స్ అన్ని మళ్ళీ సపరేట్ స్టాండర్డ్ ఉంది. కాస్ట్ అకౌంటింగ్ స్టాండర్డ్ నెంబర్ 5 కవర్స్ హౌ టు క్యాలిక్యులేట్ మెటీరియల్ కాస్ట్. ఓకే, అలానే లేబర్ కాస్ట్ అంటే చెప్పండి. లేబర్ అంటే వాట్ వి షుడ్ ఇంక్లూడ్? ఓకే, వాట్ ఈస్ లేబర్ హియర్? బేసికలీ లేబర్ కాస్ట్ మీన్స్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ది కంపెన్సేషన్, ఆర్ ఇక్కడ పైన కూడా మెటీరియల్ కాస్ట్ అంటే మనం వాట్ ఈస్ మెటీరియల్? మెటీరియల్ మీన్స్ మెటీరియల్ కాస్ట్. హియర్ ఆల్సో లేబర్ మీన్స్ వాట్? లేబర్ కాస్ట్. హ్యూమన్ రిసోర్సెస్ engaged directly or indirectly to facilitate production or service, to facilitate production or service. And third one is expenses. So what are expenses is other than material and labor incurred for the purpose of having facilities. If you are manufacturing goods, naturally you require facilities, you require a place, you require electricity, you require water. Yes or no? Yes. సో ఇవి రావడానికి మనం ఏవైతే ఎక్స్పెన్సెస్ ఇన్కర్ చేస్తామో వాటిని మనం ఈ కేటగిరీలో పెట్టవచ్చు. అదర్ దెన్, యూ కెన్ రైట్ సింప్లీ అదర్ దెన్ మెటీరియల్ అండ్ లేబర్. అదర్ దెన్ మెటీరియల్ అండ్ లేబర్. దట్ ఈస్ బ్రాకెట్లో ఓకే expenses, I mean for, you can write bracket lo for facilities, for facilities like factory, then utilities. యూటిలిటీస్ అంటే ఏంటి? వాటర్, ఎలక్ట్రిసిటీ ఇలాంటివి అనమాట. ఓకే, సో we started now classification. Yesterday only I gave just a glimpse of what is the cost. Now we started in depth. This is the first classification. Then next tomorrow we will be covering based on traceability. You can classify cost into direct and indirect. So then conditions enti that we will be knowing in our next session. Okay, right, thank you.